Oh, I'm not looking forward to this one, but here we go. Man United fell to one of their most frustrating defeats of the season last night. They lost 1-0 at home to Everton, a side that played with 10 men from the 13th minute in front of a stunned, absolutely horrified Old Trafford crowd. We dominated the ball, territory and tempo, even though the tempo was garbage, and somehow came away with nothing. 25 shots at goal and came away with nothing. 70% possession, came away with nothing. Why? Because the attacks are fucking garbage and they're predictable, and Everton just, they could handle it. They could have took another week of that. Everton's chaotic moment, Idrissa Gueye, if I probably butchered that, but who gives a shit? He was sent off for slapping his own teammate, and it wasn't even a great slap. I've seen some really good slaps. One that comes to mind is my wee pal's Bird, wee Jenny, just slapped fuck out of her boyfriend one day, and it was absolutely hilarious. But back to the game. Yeah, so he gets sent off. 13th minute, and you think, right, we're just going to go on now and take the 3 points, but obviously that did not happen. Instead, the opposite, Amorim's side looked flat, predictable, short of ideas in the final third. We moved the ball slowly, lacked runners, if any runners at all, and never, ever even got close to breaking Everton down. Yeah, we had a few shots from outside the box. Yeah, there was a few headers from Big Xerxes late on, but nothing troubled the goalkeeper, really. I think out of his saves, one of them was actually pretty damn good, a Xerxes header, I think. But yeah, 29 minutes into the first half, Kieran Dewsbury-Hall curled a shot right into the corner. I mean, the keeper gets hand to it. It could have probably and probably should have done better. But it was a brilliant strike. It was set up from perfectly from young Euro going for a tackle, and just the ball just sat right on his foot. His weak foot, to be fair, and it was a brilliant strike. Despite having the extra man for 75 minutes, we struggled to create any clear-cut chances. Pickford made a few routine stops, but Everton were really stretched, rarely panicked, and rarely troubled. The tempo was absolutely garbage. It was slow as fuck. It was just the ball going sideways, 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 cross in, and Big Tarkovsky sticks his stupid big fat head on it. The combinations were too safe. Nobody stepped up to take responsibility at all. It was just one of those games where nothing was ever going to happen. You could have played for a week and nothing would have happened. For a team with top six or European ambitions, it was garbage. I mean, I said in a preview video that we're starting to look good. We start to have a bit of fight. We're starting to put some wins together. But no, all that had just evaporated. One injury to Sesko, an injury to Kuna before the match, or a couple of days before the match. And then this happens. It's one step forward and two steps back for this team, for this club. And to be fair, it's not just the players. Amorim, he needs to absolutely take responsibility. He never changed anything. Everton down to 10 men and we still play 5 at the back. What the fuck is his problem? Take risks. Absolutely go for it. What the fuck? And I've backed this guy pretty much the whole time. But every time every time they have a bad result, people are going to be getting the axe out, going for his head. It's not the way it should be, but it's just the way it is. It was disappointing at Old Trafford, and one that puts even more focus on how the team is going to respond. A couple of more defeats and the hatchet men are going to be out. But anyway, that's a sort of review. I'm going to now do the players and see if you agree. Ironically, some of the players are going to have okay-ish ratings because I'm doing it not on how I feel, I'm doing it on the facts, the statistics. So anyway, here we go. Okay, so the goalkeeper, Lemons, he didn't have much to do overall, but he still conceded the only real moment of quality from Everton. It was a brilliant strike from Dewsbury-Hall, placed well with his weak foot. The goalkeeper, he got his hand to it. He was probably, couldn't really see it. He should have probably done better, in my opinion. You get your hand to it, you should stop it going in, unless it's like a little pinky finger or some bloody thing. Distribution was tidy. You tried to speed the game up or slow it down when it needed, although it never ever needed slowed down, but his distribution was okay. He wasn't given many options. Didn't really have anything else to do other than pick a ball out of his net. It was meh, so-so performance. 5 out of 10. Okay, so Matty De Ligt, he was the most composed of the back three, but even he couldn't organise that unit properly. He was strong in the air, as he always is. Won most physical duels. He tried to step into midfield once or twice, but not even anywhere near often enough. The defensive shape collapsed far too easily for the goal, and he couldn't drag his line higher, even with an extra man. Maybe that's just what the manager wanted, but with an extra man, you should definitely be putting one of those three into midfield. He gets a 7 because he was actually pretty damn good in terms of his statistics. Okay, so Luke Shaw, one of his senior pros, a disappointing night for, like I say, a senior player. His position was loose. He did not defend aggressively enough, and going forward, he was non-existent. The left-hand side, actually, with him and Dorgu was pretty garbage. United were chasing the game. We needed someone to go into midfield, and he should have probably been that guy. He's not the best defender. He is. He used to be really, really good in the attacking third, but he's been fucking shit this season. His passing was slow, lethargic, barely making his where he was going for it, and he looked off the pace. He's probably played too many games. Probably played more games this season than he has in the last 5 combined. For Shaw, a 6 out of 10. He needs to do so much better. He's got it in his game, but absolutely not good enough. Okay, Lenny Euro, it was a tough night for him. He looked uncertain positionally and he struggled with Everton's early counters before the red card. On the ball, he was okay as always. It was too safe, to be fair. Rarely breaking any lines or stepping out of defence. Like I say, one of these defenders should have been getting to midfield. Probably not him because he's the one with a bit of pace. He's the one that could have caught up ground if somebody did break away. So he should have been at the back, but Shaw or Delette should have definitely been into midfield. It's still a reminder that he's still a teenager. He's young. He's developing. It wasn't his most confident performance, and he will do better. This is probably his worst performance of the season. 5.5 out of 10. And now for the one next to Luke Shaw is Patrick Dorgu. He struggled throughout. For the first game I think I've ever seen him struggling with everything. He looked unsure whether to play as a wing back or come inside in midfield. His touches were loose, passes were rushed, and defensively he got caught. And, it's a big learning experience for him. The game simply moved far too fast for him. And I didn't think I'd ever say that about this guy because he's an absolute machine. A machine. Physical. But for this game, Dorgu, 5.5 out of 10. So now for Mazraoui, and you've had a bad game when this guy gets took off at half time because he's usually solid as fuck. He worked hard down that right hand side, but he lacked any penetration. Delivered a couple of crosses, but none with any accuracy that needed to trouble at Everton low block. Defensively, he was okay as he always is, though he switched off once or twice. Overall, not enough influence in a game. United had to dominate, and he came off, and Ahmad went to that right wing back position in the second half. But for Mazraoui in this match, 5 out of 10. Easily his worst game for Man United, ever. So now for Casemiro, who's had a really good season so far, but this was not his night. He tried to control the game, but he looked heavy at times. His passing was clean but predictable. He didn't inject the tempo when it was needed, even with a man advantage. He broke up play when required, now and again, but United needed a commanding midfield presence, and he was not this night. A 6 out of 10 for Casemiro. Now for Bruno Fernandes, one of the few who consistently tried to push the game forward, and in my results, he's only one of 3 who's a 7 or above. He had a couple of efforts from distance, really good efforts to be fair. He created half chances, he tried to lift the tempo of his quick passing, but his teammates were not on the same ball. They were just not here last night. But he also forced situations at times, losing the ball, trying to make something out of nothing, going for that Hollywood pass. He's still United's most proactive player and most productive player. But for this night, it's only a 7 for Bruno. Only a 7, still not bad. 7 out of 10. Now from Mbeumo, he had a few bright dribbles and made some good runs, but lacked any final product along with everyone else. Couldn't beat his man consistently, didn't threaten Pickford enough, didn't really make any sort of moves. He kind of drifted in and out of the game. Sometimes you actually forgot he was on the pitch. United needed their pacey wide man, their best player of the season, to be on form, and he just wasn't. He was never really in the game, never really done anything of any brilliance. Probably one of his worst games, or actually his worst game. 6 out of 10 for Mbeumo. Now for young Diallo, he looked sharp in flashes, especially when drifting into pockets to link up play. Had 1 or 2 dangerous moments, but lacked decisive end product. He tried to make things happen all the time with dribbles. 4 out of 5 dribbles successfully completed. His passing stats are in the 90s as usual. And I believe he had 4 or 5 shots as well. But like everyone else, end product just was not there. One of the better attackers, but still not enough to change a game. 7 out of 10 for Ahmad. So Big Josh Zirkzee, it was a quiet performance, isolated for long spells, and he struggled to impose himself. Brought in because Sesko was out injured and then Kuna picked up a slight knock. Physically, he's big, he's strong, but he's not a front man. He's not going to stretch forward. He's not going to do anything that way. He's always going to want to come deep and pick up the ball, just like Diallo and Mbeumo. All 3 of them playing in that space in front of the defenders, and that's just too easy to defend against. When the defenders can see everything, they've got nothing to worry about. He had 2 headers on target, which means That's the only reason he gets the rating that he got. He had 3 shots in total, both handled comfortably as the ones on target. His link-up play wasn't bad, although every now and again he would bring the ball down, he would do a little spin, it would look brilliant, and then he would just kick the ball somewhere in the middle of nowhere. So he needs to be a lot more consistent. But this is his chance, and if he doesn't take it, I can see him leaving Man United, even in the January transfer window, but definitely in the summer. He's got to take this chance. He's not going to get another one. I'm not sure if Rúben Amorim really likes him, but if he doesn't take this one, it's bye-bye Xerxes. So he gets, for me, I'll give him a 5 out of 10. So that's another frustrating night at Old Trafford, and it really does feel like 1 step forward and 2 steps back with this team. It was a huge chance missed, especially with Everton playing most of the game with 10 men. And when you think several key players are heading off to AFCON soon, the squad's only going to get thinner, the pressure's only going to get higher, and these players, they need to come in and they need to do a job, or they'll probably be gone if they can't. Rúben himself, he needs to be braver. He needs to start taking risks, stop being so fucking pragmatic, make bolder decisions, stop waiting for a game to come to United, stop waiting for a penalty chance, stop waiting for the opposition to absolutely make a mistake. We've seen glimpses of what this team can do, but nights like this show how quickly the progress can just disappear. Let me know your thoughts and comments. How bad were they? I think they were pretty fucking terrible, to be fair, but even though 1 or 2 of the players got pretty decent ratings. But anyway, on to the next one. Crystal Palace on Sunday. How the fuck is that going to go? Jesus Christ.